Hey, it's another Tuesday night. Here we are, Boston Foundation Radio Network.
Tuesday
So,
night. Here we are. Yep. How's
yep,
Robin?
yep, tired as usual. So, yep, it's been one of those long weekends again. So,
Oh yeah.
yep, but it happens. So,
You're home.
yeah, tonight, yeah, it's like, oh,
On
I'm
a
home
rare
tonight.
occasion.
Yeah, I was kind of unsure, but where I was gonna be, but yep. So, yep, back home tonight. See what happens next week, and waiting for a couple of things with electricians and plumbers, and to get some things doing. And so we'll see if they
Yeah.
get there in time to get things going with that place. But how are you up to?
Not too bad. I look half asleep, man. You know how you have those moments where you doze off briefly, and you feel like
Uh,
you've like been asleep, and you wake up and you're like, wait, yeah, I kind of dozed off like briefly, and I was like, wait a minute, did I miss everything?
I've been kind of doing
Yeah.
that lately, trying to wake up, trying to figure out where I am. And it's like it's like it's bouncing around so much different. It's like, okay, we're oh yeah, that's time right. I'm here today. Okay, so it's like, yeah, you
Well,
don't know
most
which.
of the time, it's only two locations.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not too bad. It's just a matter of how quick I get out of the bed, because in the RV I can't get out too quick, because there's not quite as much room between the bed and the
Yeah.
wall of the RV. So yeah,
Yeah.
a little tougher.
So what's going on in
But
Ashmore?
um,
Anything? Any new news?
nothing. Yeah, nothing. Not a whole lot. We've got the guys from Tennessee Race Chasers doing the doubleheader there about November 20 or November 19th. Doing that, and so that'll be kind of fun. Mike and Chris are going to come in and do a daytime investigation and meet and greet, which I don't think anybody's ever done. And then we're going to do a
Yeah.
nighttime. So they're doing the doubleheader on, after baseball season. Then they're going to do the doubleheader paranormal there at the building. So that'll be a different thing. And we've actually sold quite a few tickets for it. And then
Yeah.
October 1st, I think that's that Saturday. October 1st, we've got Kids Day at Ashmore States. It's a 100% benefit for Lost Limbs Foundation, and that's almost sold out. There's like about 6 tickets left, three adult and child, and like three just additional adult or additional child. So if somebody wants
Yeah.
those tickets, they better get them, because you'll be crying to me in the end of September saying they forgot to get your tickets, and like, oh, then here's a link for next year, come and see us. So we won't add on to it. But yeah, so if you want tickets to Kids Day, get them now. They're only, they're cheap, $25 and 15 for each additional kid or parent. So
Yeah.
what's happening at Rhodes? Anything?
A lot of busy stuff. Friday we got Shane Pittman to be here doing his event, so that'll be fun. And I think there's still a few tickets left to that. People need to go to his page and follow the link, because they're selling the tickets on their link instead of the Rhodes Hotel website. So a few tickets are left on that. It's limited. Very few people going to be here. So perfect opportunity to have a small group to investigate with Shane. And then, of course, the end of October, the 29th, we're doing the team up thing with the Asher Walton house. It's 2 houses down. So we'll have both locations. 2 locations, 1 ticket. It's what I've been telling people. So, and it's limited. We're just going to have 20 people, and we'll do 10 at each location and just rotate out. So not too many people doing that. Kind of the usual public investigation type thing here. Only we'll be switching them out and moving them down there and trading out groups.
You can switch out like every hour or something like that, or?
Yeah, I think we're going to do it like every couple of hours. I think it's probably what we're going to do. That way, then people get, because you know how it is. You get, if you get an activity, you don't want to move too awful
Right.
soon. Maybe, I guess that way, if we figure a couple of hours would be good, and then switch out, and then kind of do that throughout the night until it's time to wrap up. So yeah, but other than that, we just got the public investigations that we're doing each month, and the next one's coming up this Saturday, and I believe there are 3 tickets left for that one as of now. So not too many of them left for it. So
And you don't sell
we
many
get
tickets for that
tickets.
anyway.
No, we only do 10 tickets for the public investigations. So,
Yeah,
yep.
so you can investigate with a small group, and which makes it really great.
Small group from 6 p.m. until 2 a.m. Not too bad. Yeah, good deal, right?
Yep. Yeah. A couple comments there. Hey, Lee, how you doing? And Kelly
Yeah, hey everyone.
from UK. I think I'm doing
Yeah,
pretty good. I think Mike's doing okay too. He's up and moving anyway, so I always
yeah.
figure it's a
Well,
good day if I'm up and moving.
yeah, exactly. It's a good day if you're up moving around. So it's a good day. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it, especially over in the UK. It's late over there. Late night over there.
Yep. And if you're if you're missing the episodes, you can always check it out on Facebook pages or go to the YouTube channel. They're all on there, and subscribe to that. I think we were bombarded last week. We had like 3 or 4 people went down there. It's probably I haven't looked today, but it was like 43 last time. So
I
hopefully,
think we're at like 46.
ooh, it's really
We're moving up.
stacking. So
We're moving up.
to look and see where we're at with that. But yeah, it's
I think it was
just
46.
crushing it. So we kind of joke about it because if you don't, if you can't make fun of yourselves, who can make fun of?
Yep.
Yep, we're at 46 subscribers. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get to 47 before the next one.
I think most people were like watching the replays on Facebook because there's so many people are on there, like for Ashmore and for Rhodes and just follow the page and stuff in general. I think it's just easier, like when it streams live there, people just automatically go to that to kind of watch the replay.
Oh yeah. But, well, since I don't really know Ernie at all, and I think you know him about as well as I do.
Yeah. We don't know him so well. So yeah,
let's get Ernie in here, and so we can make sure he's got plenty of time to tell us all about himself and what he's up to.
Yeah, sounds good.
There he is. All right. Hey, Ernie.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's going on?
How are you doing?
Good. Let me work on my volume here a little bit. All right. Can you guys hear me well?
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
I was like, what?
I was going to say, my tech guy's upstairs. I had to take the broom handle and hit on the ceiling. Down.
So how's it going,
Michelle?
I'm good, man. It's I was talking to Robbin off air before you come in. We were just talking about how miserable the heat is.
Oh man,
I've been suffering the past couple days. The older I get, I can't take the heat no more or the cold. It has to be like right in between,
Yeah, it's crazy. Yesterday it was like, I mean, as soon as you open the door, just the heat would just blast you.
Yeah, I stepped outside today to get some packages that was delivered, and man, it felt like I walked into a sauna. Like I couldn't even breathe.
Jeez.
But I live in Maryland, so you just give it a couple hours and it's a whole new season. So
Kelly said it's been hot in the UK too, so I guess it's
who's that from the UK?
Kelly Elliott.
Kelly, we have a pretty good fan base in the UK. Well, actually, Kelly, we will actually be in the UK at the end of 2023. We're looking forward to it. My paranormal partner and I, we've never been there before, so it's going to be an exciting trip. I can't imagine being on a plane that long, but
it's not too fun.
I know.
Yeah.
We just last summer we had a event and we had to fly up to Nebraska, right on the Nebraska-Iowa line, and we were on like 4 planes in 3 days. And it was like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I just soon stay away from flights. I get tired of flying out. No, I just soon drive if I can.
Yeah, me too. If it's feasible, we're definitely driving. Absolutely, I agree with you.
When I went over,
I figured 9 hours.
Yeah. It's when I went over to when I flew into Heathrow. I went from Indy to New York, and then when I went from New York to Heathrow, it was like, I think it was like about 7.5 hours.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's It's a nice long flight.
Like, yeah, our flight to Nebraska, I mean, we were in airports longer than we were on airplanes. You know what I mean? If we could have just got a straight, it would have been a good deal, you know. So, but it would, you know, like they say, it's the journey getting there, not the destination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends, right?
So tell us a little about yourself, because like I said, Mike and I don't really know you that well at all, and just from talking to you, that's about it.
Oh man, I'll make it kind of brief. For those that don't know me, my name is Ernie. I'm co-founder of Paranormal Inc. and also co-host of Step Into the Paranormal Radio podcast on WLFE DB Radio. Man, I've been investigating the paranormal officially since 1999, and I actually did it on my own until I joined a group out of Maryland back in 2011, which lasted like 6 or 7 years before I decided to break from the group. And my best friend Dave came with me to take care of all the technical computers and cameras and all that good stuff. So Dave and I are a 2-man solo project, we like to say. And man, it's been so much fun. I started, the funny thing is, like, and it's mentioned in my book, I've been researching like spirit visitations and spirituality and angel visitations and things along the religious aspect since I was a child in elementary school. And it wasn't until paranormal became like a mainstream everyday word that no matter what TV channel you put on, your favorite shows there, that I started seeing this connection between the spirituality and the paranormal. So I was kind of introduced into the paranormal for my love of the spiritual side of different visitations. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's just been a wild ride, man. And Dave and I, man, we're just having a blast. You know, we run with a real good crowd of people, and we're all over the place and just doing our thing and having a good time. And that's how I was fortunate enough to meet you gentlemen, because I'm friends with a mutual friend of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not sure about that good crowd of people when you and how we met then. So
Well, hey, let's do this in case Dr. Rebecca is watching. Yesterday was her birthday, so happy
Yeah.
birthday,
Happy birthday.
and we will see you at an event real soon.
yeah, she's a good lady. I enjoy her.
Yeah, I knew of Rebecca, but I never had the opportunity to meet her until we were both booked at a few-day paranormal event a few months back in Virginia. And it was really cool because where we were at, it was a building, but it was several rooms. They had outdoor vendors, indoor vendors, and we were the indoor vendors. And they had several rooms. But as you enter this location, Rebecca and Dave and I, and Mike King from Ghosts of Shepherdstown, he was one of the guests too, but Mike always sets up with us. But we were the only 4 people in the main room as you enter the building. So we got to really spend a lot of time with Rebecca and talk, and her and I kind of investigated the hotel we were at a little bit that night, and it was a good time. Very fun.
What was your first experience that you had like that kind of pushed things more forward in the paranormal field for you?
Well, my first-hand personal experience, the thing that got me at such a young age into this was hearing a lot of stories from my family. Growing up Roman Catholic, going to, Catholic church, Catholic school. I had an uncle in the priesthood. That was before I was born, though. But I always heard these stories that people, over the years have seen angels and seen different religious figures. But it wasn't until I was 11, I used to go on a Friday night. Underneath our church was a big hall, and they had all the church events there. They had like the Sons of Italy Club and the Knights of Columbus, and this club and that club. And on Friday nights, all the old people would come there and play bingo. So my grandfather and I would go after bingo's over, like 11:30 at night, and we would clean the hall up and set it up for the next event, which would be the next day. And this one particular Friday evening, we were all done cleaning up, setting up, and I was kind of standing in the back of the hall. My grandfather, Ernie, had went up into the church to make sure all the lights and doors, everything was secured. And on the far end of the hall where we had a stage, there was 2 stairwells which led up into the back of the church. Well, when I was standing there waiting for my grandfather to come back down so we could leave, I noticed on one of the stairwells, there was a priest standing there dressed in white, and he was staring. I can't be sure if he was staring at me or staring past me, but there was a priest standing there staring at me. And it kind of made me, freeze in place. I didn't know what to think, where he came from or whatever, because I knew the place was locked down. I knew we were the only 2 in the whole building. And while I was standing there watching him, waiting for my grandfather to come back down, I just kind of watched him like dissipate in front of me. So that my first experience was at 11 years old when I seen an apparition of a priest.
Now, do you guys do a lot of like private investigations and things?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we're all over the place hosting public investigations and seminars, and of course, the like what we call paracons. But our main function is we get calls, emails, all that good stuff with people that think they may have activity in their homes or their business or even their land. Sometimes we've gotten some cases where people think that their land is haunted, which is causing activity in their homes.
Most of that then around the Maryland area, or?
Nah, I mean, it really depends. We've been to, if it's too far based on our schedule, we'll have like other teams that we know or work with or trust. And, we can give a case to them if it's closer, or they can get there sooner than us. But most of the residential cases we do is in Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, Jersey, stuff like that.
So you cover quite a bit of the East Coast then.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends on the case and the time frame and the severity. Like I said, there has been several times where we've called in other teams we work with that'll take the case for us.
Out of all those residential cases that you've worked on, have you found most of them are legit, or kind of the split as far as people are just a problem, either mentally or just something in the house?
A great majority of them are legit, but that sparked a case that you guys will probably be interested in, and people that know me or have seen me do other interviews or even see our show, they've probably heard this a million times. But my partner Dave and I got a call from a man in York, Pennsylvania. Well, Dave originally got the call, and Dave called me up in the middle of the night and he said, "Hey, we got this case we got to get to, man. This guy is completely traumatized." So he's sending us photographs and all this stuff of alleged evidence. Now, Dave and I, we were going over the photographs he sent us, and here was the catch. We did a group call with him. The 3 of us were on the line, and you could hear the terror in this guy's voice. I mean, this guy was genuinely scared to be in his own home. Now, looking at the photos, we didn't think the guy was trying to pull a hoax on us. by sending us these photos. However, we thought someone was trying to pull a hoax on him. So either way, no matter what we thought, it was our job to go in and figure this mess out. Now, Mike King from the show Ghosts of Shepherdstown, he investigates a lot with us. So we called Mike up and said, hey, we got this case in York, if you want to go with us. He's like, absolutely, I'm there. Well, the night of the investigation, something happened with Mike's son, and Mike had to back out. So Dave and I went up and we met the homeowner, and we had, an interview with him prior to investigating. And we asked him who else lives there. And he told us that he has a female roommate. So we're like, what's the relationship between you guys? How's everything going? And he's like, it's been kind of rough. I think she wants me out because she wants to move her boyfriend in. So that kind of threw up a red flag right there, So lo and behold, we start investigating, and we're getting good activity. Okay. And the homeowner stayed with us during parts of the investigation. So at one point we were in his bedroom and we had some equipment set up, and Dave and I and the homeowner, the current homeowner, we were in the middle of the floor, and I think we had some sort of voice box or even an Ovilus maybe running, but first and last name came up on the Ovilus, which is kind of it's not impossible, but it doesn't happen a lot. Well, the homeowner turned kind of like gray. It was like if the life drained out of him. And I took notice to it, and I asked him, I was like, what's wrong? And he goes, stay right here. I'll be right back. So Dave and I look at each other, we're like, okay. So we continue asking questions, what have you. And the homeowner comes back, and he's holding the original deed to the house. Well, I'm looking at it, and I really don't know what I'm looking for, Well, he points to the original owner of the home. The original homeowner is the two names that we got come across the Ovilus. So at this point, we were like, okay, this just got real. So our conclusion, I know I'm starting to ramble on. Our conclusion is the roommate was trying to scare this guy out of his home, which sparked legitimate activity. And we believe that the original homeowner was trying to warn the current homeowner about his roommate. So when we did a follow-up with him like 2 months later, he said everything stopped. Everything ceased as soon as we left. And we're like, wow, what'd you do? And he's like, I threw her out. So, but the evidence, I mean, the guy didn't know a whole lot about the paranormal other than what he sees or hears. And it was like he kept a bottle of holy water beside his bed, which had turned black. And like the toilet water turned black, and just crazy stuff like this. So we took samples of everything and had it analyzed, and it was hair dye. So, but I mean, it was a nice, peaceful conclusion. But it just, it goes to show you how someone like trying to pull a hoax on this kid actually sparked up legitimate activity. So we went in, with a mindset in one direction, and it took a 360-degree turn on us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely one of them that you remember. All the investigations we've done. That's one that always sticks in our craw.
Any other crazy ones? Like, well, I don't know if I want to say crazy, but you know what I mean. Any other really memorable ones that you've had?
Oh my goodness, man. Give me a subtopic. Like, I have so many. Wow, I was investigating a farmhouse one night. This lady, she had her best friend passed away and willed a house to her. So this was before my paranormal partner and I, Dave, met. So I went out into the country in Maryland, and I'm going to investigate. I was with my team. We were going to investigate this house. Now, the house had no running water, no electricity. It just sat there. No one lived in it. So when we get there, there is a garage on the property that's the lady that owns the house now that had it willed to her. She works a home business out of this garage. Real nice. So one of the investigators and we went into the home, and we're just doing like a walkthrough to see what we're dealing with before it got dark. Because like I said, we were in the middle of nowhere and there's no electricity. Now we noticed when we got upstairs, there was like wet laundry hanging over the shower rods and stuff like that that dried and stiffened up. We could tell they'd been there for a while, and the house was just in complete disarray. It looked as if someone just was like, I'm out of here, and they left. So interviewing the client, she said when the house was willed to her, her newly married son and his wife and their infant child took up residence in the home. They started claiming activity, and it got to the point where one night they just woke up and abandoned everything they owned, all their clothes. They got the heck out of there. So now it's been like 2 years. I think it was 2 years. So here we are. We were only going in two at a time because it was a 2-floor house, and it really wasn't that big, and it was really cold that night. So the whole team's in the garage, or in the garage where this lady's home business is. So the investigator and myself go into the residence, and we had a reporter with us that night that was doing a story on us. So it was pitch black, man. I mean, it was so dark. There were no street lights in the area. It was just an abandoned home in the middle of nowhere. And while we're in the living room just doing like some EVP work, the reporter is standing by the stair steps, and she's like, "Hey, Ernie, I know it's cold, but there is this just cold patch that's just like bone chilling is right over my right shoulder." And I was like, "All right." And she's like, "It's not moving. It's just staying there." And I said, "Okay." So I got out the digital camera, and I was like, on 3, I'm going to take a photo. So I took the photo, and in the photo, you see this dark mass covering her shoulder. So I didn't want to frighten her and tell her. So I told her, I said, "Hey, I'm walking towards you," because it was so dark, she wouldn't have seen me coming. So as I walked to her, I'm actually standing in this cold spot. And I decided to take my camera, and I was just going to start snapping photos. So the other investigator and the reporter, I told them, I said, "Hey, get ready. I'm going to snap some photos." Now I just held my digital camera out. I didn't look through the viewfinder. I was just going to start snapping. So I gave a 3 count. And when I pushed the button with the camera aimed at the living room, when you take a digital photo in the dark, of course, the flash illuminates the room. So I hold the camera out, I hit the button, and when the flash illuminated the living room, there was a man standing there staring at us. And I mean to tell you, the whole paranormal thing, the way we view it, it isn't anything that scares us. But I had that startled feeling like, if you walk around the corner and someone jumps out on you, that's the feeling that come over me. Now, we had the whole place running with cameras, which my team was viewing from the garage. And one of the investigators radioed in and said, "Hey, tell Ernie to step out." I guess they saw the panic in my face. So I step out, and I go into where everyone is, including the homeowner. And they asked me what I experienced. And just as I started to talk, on the obelisk, the name George came up. And the homeowner goes, "Wow, that was the name. It's coincidental, but that's the name of my son's grandfather who passed." So I started to tell him what I saw, or who I saw. I was describing him. I said he had dark pants on. He had a dingy white button-up shirt, very sunken in face with a scruffy beard and long, looked like greasy or wet hair, and he was starting to bald on top. And the homeowner was like, "This is what I need you to do." She said, "Go in the back of the garage and there's a picture on my desk. I want you to go take a look at it. So I go back there, and it's a picture of a man, and he's sitting on a motorcycle. And it was the man that I saw, but he was about maybe 60 pounds heavier. So I come back and I told her, and I said, you know, that's a quite good resemblance to the man I just saw. And she goes, well, you described George, and it's my son's grandfather. And the way you described him is what he looked like and what he was wearing when he passed away from cancer. And I tell you what, man, that was just, that was a mind blowing experience.
Has the family had any other contact with him since?
With us,
with the spirit that you saw?
Once we did our thing and we had other people we worked with, they did like a, not like a banishment, but like a, just a blessing on the house and everything like that. We did speak to her a few weeks later, and I mean, the house was still empty, but she hadn't experienced anything. So at that point, I mean, we did lose contact. I don't know whatever happened to the house, if they, you know, rented it back out or sold it or remodeled it. I have no idea.
You did an episode of haunted hospitals too on Travel Channel, didn't you?
Yeah, it's I was on season 3 of Travel Channel Haunted Hospitals. You can also see it on, it's constantly there on, if you have Discovery Plus. And it's funny because the my incident that was featured on the TV program is actually going to be in my second book, which I hope is out in time for Christmas. I'm working extra hard to try to get this done to have it out by Christmas. So I originally had a deadline for August, but just with other things going on, I couldn't meet it. So now we kind of pushed it up to have it out by Christmas. But yeah, I was on Haunted Hospitals. I think the original air date was sometime in 2021. We filmed it in August of 2020 during the height of the pandemic. And like I said, that incident's going to be in my second book, which I'm looking forward to, because I've also had, I mean, based on the story that I told on Haunted Hospitals, I've had, I believe, 2 episodes kind of as a follow-up occur to the original story. So it should be, I think everybody's going to get a kick out of it.
I'll have to check that out. Now I'm curious about it. I'm going to have to go find it and watch it.
If you have Discovery Plus, it's season 3, episode 6. And my segment is called The Ghost on the Road. And I think you'll like it. It's pretty good. It actually, the incident actually occurred while I was at work at my regular job. So that kind of made it all the more interesting.
Yeah, I've got a friend that has been involved with that show, Richard and Steph.
Yes, I was, when I said we flew out to Nebraska, we were up there with Richard. We were in Iowa at the Malvern Manor. Our friend Josh. Okay. Yeah, our friend Josh owns that.
Cool.
So yeah, Richard. Actually, a very funny story. We were up there. I was co-organizer of the Paranormal Relief Project, which my friend Tori Smith, she was the founder and organizer of this event. So it was myself, my partner Dave, and Josh and Tori and Richard. And we were hosting a public investigation at Malvern Manor. And Richard and Josh were together. They were getting some film clips filmed for a documentary. And Dave and I were leading the investigation. And we had come in contact with something upstairs in one of the bedrooms. And we asked what it wanted. And it said Richard. And we were like, Richard who? And I kid you not, guys, the voice box said S-Step, which that's not a very common, it ain't like,
Yeah.
Brown or Smith and
Right.
we actually went down and got Richard and he came up and, man, it just went crazy. It was such a cool thing.
Well, he's been there quite a few times too, so
Yeah,
they probably know him.
Yeah, he's all what? And I just what the hell? Let me get my date straight here. Back in March, we were all together at the Rochester Parafest in Caledonia or Geneseo, New York, and Richard was up there as well, and he was staying at the Hinsdale house. So Dan, the owner of the Hinsdale house, he told Dave and because Dave and I had never been to Hinsdale. So Dan told us go on down to Hinsdale like before the event starts or whatever. That Richard's been staying down there. It was Richard and Sam Baltrusis were there and working on a project. So we went down and got to hang out with them at Hinsdale and take a few pictures. And it was a good time, man. Richard's a great guy and he's very knowledgeable. And it's always so nice when we get to hook up with them guys.
Yeah. Did he let you touch his blanket?
You know what? I didn't see his blanket.
Oh no!
I know which one you're talking about. He must have folded up and packed it away before Dave and I got there.
Yeah, we'll see him in a couple of weeks.
That's awesome, man. Rich, yeah, he's a heck of a guy, man. He's a heck of a guy.
Yeah, he actually wrote a book about my building here. And,
what? Okay. Which one?
Gacy's
Ashmore. Okay.
No, well, he's working on that one, but Gacy's Ghost.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he's got quite a few out.
Yeah, he's been slinging them out left and right.
I know. It's amazing, man. And I just you can't help but to look up to a guy like that because I was so proud when my first book come out because it took me so long to do it, and it's just like, excuse me, man, he gets them done and they're all fabulous. I've read several of them. He actually, Richard, when we were in Iowa, Malvern, he actually gave me a book to help me finish my book that explained everything, what to do, what not to do. And I was like, holy crap, man, this guy's got it together. We were joking and we were talking about my book. And I'm like, yeah, I got this to do, that to do, whatever. And I'm like, don't be surprised, Rich, if I call you up, man. And he's like, here, read this. Read it on the plane. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I did just that. I read it on the plane. So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mike looks like he's looking at his list to come up with the next one.
No, well, I always put on because, sometimes I do forget my question and stuff. So I was looking and I was just like, I'm going to go ahead and throw this question out there now. But yeah, I every week it's cool to hear what responses I get from the question. But I always ask people if they have one location that they can investigate anywhere in the world, where would they investigate at?
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere you wanted.
Not because we're going there, because I've said this way before I was even invited there, but I've always had this fascination with going somewhere in London, just because of the history, the structures, the castles, the buildings, just the energy and the spirituality there. It's just like I've always wanted to go there or Ireland. So,
Ireland, cool.
Yeah, I really can't think of a location, like a specific, like this building or that. I really don't know. The best I can answer that, Mike, is to say anywhere in London, man. Just as soon as I step off the plane, guide me somewhere, and I'll be like a kid in a candy store.
It's so cool over there. I went. What was that? The end of May beginning of June, I
Yeah,
think.
something like that.
And it's amazing. I mean, seeing like all these old structures. I got to see
Right.
Colchester Castle.
Wow.
That was cool. Like, yeah, I got to check it out. They had like, all this stuff inside there, and I was like taking pictures and looking at everything it was inside, and it's just, I mean, it's amazing. Like, and just when I was out running around, like just seeing different places. I mean, it's nothing to see all these like really old places, just like churches or
Yeah.
whatever, all over the place. And of course, I'd just be like, "Oh, gotta stop here." Stop off,
Right.
start taking a bunch of pictures, and then you see another place, and it's like, "Oh, gotta stop here." So
And you
yeah,
know what?
you'll love it.
It made me think of something that actually I was talking to Richard Estep about this. Back when we just came back last week from we were up in Rochester again. It was myself and 3 other authors. We did a paranormal author seminar / Q&A. But when we were originally up there in March, when we left where we were staying at in Geneseo and was headed to Hinsdale House, I guess it was like, I don't know, give or take an hour out, about an hour, a little over an hour ride. And I don't know how familiar you are with upstate New York, but it is just absolutely, absolutely beautiful. My first time to New York ever is when I went to the studio to film Haunted Hospitals, and I was in New York City. And I've never been to upstate New York. And of course, I've always heard how beautiful it was because, like I mentioned at the beginning of your episode, I had an uncle in the priesthood, and he was stationed up there. And I remember my grandfather Ernie always telling me how nice it is up there. So Dave and I are riding from Geneseo to Hinsdale House, and it was a lot of land, a lot of old houses, but we went through a lot of small towns, and it looked like people just picked up and left. Like you had entire like shopping centers that were just abandoned, and gas stations and stores and homes. And along the way, Dave and I were talking because Hinsdale House is in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, I wonder how many Hinsdale houses we just passed in our journey to Hinsdale. And, when we got back to the Parafest event, Richard asked me how I liked the area or whatever. And we were talking about that. Like, you just never know. Like, we passed so many old homes and abandoned homes, and you could tell that they had just had a story to tell. And it just made my brain go like, man, I wonder if there's any activity in this place, in this place, in this place, in this place, and it's just like, it was just overwhelming, man. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Somebody in the chat earlier was asking about, or she said something about wanting to find your book. I mentioned they can on Amazon, but tell us a little bit about your book and where they can find it.
My book, of course, I sell it at all the events. Some people even contact me directly and I ship it to them. You can get it on Amazon. You can also get it on Amazon Kindle. I just happen to have a copy here.
Imagine
My book,
that.
yeah, this is it right here. Paranormal, My Chosen Journey. And to just give you a brief backstory on that, since age 9 up until now, I just turned 29 for the 3rd time. My entire life, I hate to excuse the term, but a book nerd. I mean, I love to read. And I've always had this just desire to write a book. And my grandmother used to always say to me that if you're going to write a book, you better start now because I know how you are with getting your homework done. That was kind of like their little joke to me. And so anyhow, I always wanted to write a book, but I just never knew what to write about. Even as a child, I wrote a book on poetry, but doing so many like interviews like this, I've had after the interview and I would talk to the hosts or whatever, they were like, man, you have some really fascinating things. You need to write a book. And I'm like, and I'd make a joke about it. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ted Van Son. He contacted me when he was finishing the rough draft of his second book. And he knew I like to read. So he said, hey, man, if I send you this rough draft, can you read it real quick? And I want you to do the foreword for me. And I was like, yeah, sure, man. So he sends me the book. Over a period of 2 nights, I read it. I wrote the foreword. And he contacts me. He's like, hey, my editor or publisher or whomever, they really liked what you wrote. Not only are you in the book, on the forward, but they took some of your quotes and you're on the back cover of the book. And I was just like, at this point, I felt like Stephen King, you know what I mean? So I was doing, Dave and I were doing a seminar one night, and in our hometown, and a lot of people have been here. In our hometown, there's a paranormal meetup group, and every first Friday of the month they meet up and they just talk about, issues they had or stories and evidence and all that good stuff. They travel around and do different investigations, but every meetup they like to have a guest speaker. So Dave and I packed the house one night and we're doing our thing, and we always got this question. Someone from the audience raised their hand and they're like, I have 2 questions for you. And I was like, okay. And she's like, whatever got you into this? And what the hell do you do this for? And it was like a light went over my head. And I was like, there's my book. I finally figured it out. So about 2.5, well, it's been 3.5 now because the book's been out a year. My first book is a timeline of my life starting back in the very early 70s. And it's 18 chapters long, and each chapter is a different story, whether it involved my family, something I researched, or something I experienced. And the chapters lead all the way up until Dave and I formed Paranormal. So it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. I put a lot of heart and soul into it, and there's a lot of very good stories in there. And I guess you could say the objective of my book was, in the beginning of the interview, I said I view things more spiritually than scientifically, where my partner Dave, he views things more scientifically. And basically what I wanted to do was take both sides of the spectrum and say, okay, here's the spiritual aspect, here's the scientific aspect. At the end of the day, we're both looking at the same exact issue, but through a different lens. So it was trying to bridge that gap between spirituality and paranormal.
Yeah, that makes sense. That works pretty well together, especially the 2 of you working like that, kind of doing a little bit different, but bringing it all together.
Yeah. What was you going to say, Mike?
I was going to ask you, do you have events that are coming up and stuff that you'll have your book and stuff at?
Yeah.
At or anything?
This is where the senior moments kick in. I'll probably screw this all up with the date. We actually leave a week from Thursday for the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, which is a 3-day paranormal event. Of course, I will have my book there. We have a few public investigations coming up, August and September. Everything's on my Paranormal Inc. Facebook page. We will be in, let me think, I'm jumping ahead to October. We'll be at the first annual. This is the first year it's kicking off, and I'm so excited. Sleepy Hollow Paracon in Sleepy Hollow, New York. I have read every rendition of Sleepy Hollow in print, and we got the opportunity to be in the Sleepy Hollow Paracon. So I am just ecstatic about going there, man. It's going to be so much fun. But yeah, there's a lot of paranormal events. Sleepy Hollow's in October, And then, of course, at the beginning of the new year, we'll be back up in New York again for the Rochester Parafest, which is a great event. My friend and fellow author and radio host, Ted Van Son, puts that on. And everything, the good thing is every Paracon that we do, like even the one I was in with Rebecca a few weeks ago, everything goes to such a great cause. The Battlefield Bash in Gettysburg next week, that goes to help wounded warriors of Pennsylvania and children with terminal illness. And it's such a great event, man. Everybody comes out and a lot of money's raised and it all goes to a good cause. And it's just a lot of fun, man. It's a big family reunion.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun to get out to Gettysburg sometime. I've never been out that way, so.
Oh man, Gettysburg is like, I refer to it as like the paranormal playground. Like you can go to Gettysburg and not even try and come home with evidence. You know what I mean? Like some of the best, the best evidence I've ever captured in Gettysburg was when I was just there sightseeing or, walking around, taking my own history tour, and just come home with some of the greatest evidence. And actually we're hosting, I think it's September 10th, right on the outskirts of Gettysburg. Our friends Pam and Steve Berry, who throw the Gettysburg Bash, they are co-owners of 1912 Hoover House, which is a functioning bed and breakfast. So we host an investigation there. But the cool thing is, like the people that buy tickets, they can actually stay at the bed and breakfast when the investigation's over. So it's always a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Gettysburg, man, it never lets down. If you have the opportunity and you're going to Gettysburg, hit me up. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away. If I can't make it, I can lead you everywhere you need to go and everybody you need to see while you're there.
So much energy there.
Oh, it's fabulous, man. It's fabulous. And I tell you, excuse me. I mean, over the years, I've gotten a lot of evidence there. Like I said, I'm only a little over an hour away, but it seems that the best photographic evidence or audio evidence that I've captured there has been during the daylight, which, investigating the paranormal, it's usually at night. And just up there, like sightseeing and photographing different monuments and stuff, doing what I do. Of course, I'm going to have to analyze the photos, and the best evidence I've gotten up there is during the day.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter and pusher of daytime investigations.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just, it's funny because, like, and that's another question that we get during seminars is like, why you investigate at night? And well, sure. I mean, I've been investigating for over 20 years, and the reason we all do this is we want these answers. We want to be able to, without a reasonable doubt, prove there's an afterlife. But there's not one of us that can't say, yeah, we're in it for a little bit of the spooky factor as well. But we explain to people that, of course, it's more intriguing at night. But with a lot of the equipment that we use, it helps us detect things better in darkness. But people sometimes just have the wrong misconception, I think, of the paranormal because, and I'm not being negative about anybody, but it was just funny. We were hosting a public investigation one night at a real famous mansion, and the property, it's pretty much a lot of property. So we said we were going to go at some point during the investigation, we were going to go across the street or up the street. There's a small cemetery there. And they're like, but you probably won't get nothing. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, if you're investigating the mansion and you think there's like resident spirits at the mansion, you're off of the property. And we kind of like laugh, like, what do you think the spirit's going to get to like the property line? Go, oh, okay, wait, I'm going to stop here. But it's just yeah. I mean, that's a whole different topic there, but
Yep. Now, in fact, let me ask a question here.
sure.
There we go. She's asked about your book.
Is it on audio form? No, but it's funny. It's funny, Jamie, that you asked me that because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tony DeVille. He's one of the best tattoo artists that there is. He was actually featured on Ink Master Angels. He's from my hometown, and we actually hold events at his tattoo parlor. His tattoo parlor is one of the most haunted locations we've ever been to. And just so happens it's 20 minutes from my house. Now, when Tony and his wife got a copy of my book and everything, his wife, KC, actually offered to do it in audio form for me. So that's something I guess eventually I may look into having it on audio form, but as of right now, it's not. It's just in paperback and on Kindle.
I think Josh Hearn's been doing some of Richard's books like that for him.
Yeah. That must be a task because Richard's got so many out.
Yeah.
Look, Josh gave up his Facebook page.
Yep.
Well, before we kind of get wrapped up tonight, anything else you can that you want to share with us as far as how people can reach you or contact you or check things out?
Several ways. You can go to our website. It is Paranormal Inc. That's INC, not ink like tattoo ink. Paranormalinc.net. Once you enter the site, everything's in there. All our links. Like I said, our radio podcast is Step Into the Paranormal. It is actually, we're working out a deal right now. We were offered a spot on Roku TV, so we're going through the details with that. But as of right now, you can catch it on YouTube, Spreaker, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, all them places. Or the easiest way, go onto Facebook, punch in Paranormal Inc. It's a closed page. Either Dave or I will accept you. And every other Sunday when we do our show, Dave throws a link in there and you can just click right on and be live with us. The reason that my Paranormal Inc. page is I keep it closed. It's not open to the public. You have to be accepted. Is when I started that page years ago, I wanted to create a way for everyone to be able to be in touch with everyone. It's no negativity. It's no judgment. If you have events coming up, no matter what you want to promote in the paranormal, no matter what you want to share, talk about, that's what it's there for. It's just to bring the community together with no negativity, no criticism, nothing like that. So I keep it closed. That way I can see who's coming in or whatever. And, we did have one person we accepted, and we've only had this happen one time in all these years, but one person kind of started trashing someone's evidence because they were asking us questions. Hey, can anyone on this page tell me what they think it is? This is what I think it is. Someone got really rude with them, and as soon as we picked up on it, they were gone. That's not what it's for. And if you let me throw a plug real quick, this coming Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern is our next episode of Step Into the Paranormal. Our friend Daryl Marston from Ghost Hunters will be our special guest, so you might want to check it out. That's our first time interviewing Daryl, and if you're watching, Daryl, we will see you next week at the Bash. But yes, just all our information is right here, paranormalinc.net. Find us on Facebook under Paranormal Inc. And love to bring you into the group and get you into the community, no matter, whether you're a 40-year seasoned investigator or if you just started watching a paranormal show last week. We welcome everybody. And as you guys as well, Mike, I already added you to it. Please, by all means,
Okay,
man,
cool. Thanks.
promote your radio show, your venues, whatever you got going on, because that's just a way that everybody knows what you have going on.
Yeah.
Great. I would
It's been
appreciate
fun
it.
talking tonight.
Yeah, man, that's I like I said, man, I could ramble for hours. I get so excited when I talk about this. Thank you so much for having me, for letting me talk about my book and hustle that off a little bit. I really appreciate it. And in the
I'm glad to
future,
do
if it's anything that we can do for you guys, just contact me or David Seiler.
Yeah, thanks for being on and talking to us tonight.
All right.
Oh yeah,
And
no, I appreciate it.
all right, I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. And when you talk to Rebecca, give her our love.
Well, I'm not sure when the next time I'll see her. Sometime soon, I think. But I know she'll be here at the building here in February. But I think I'll probably
Yes.
see her before that.
Yes. So,
all right,
guys, have a
Ernie.
good night. Stay hydrated, and thank you again, and thank you to
Yeah, you
everybody.
too. Yeah,
All right.
thanks
I'll see you
again.
guys,
Have a good
sir.
night.
All right, bye.
Good night.
Bye.
See ya.
No, it's great having him on. And
Yeah,
like I said, I've never
it's
met
fun.
him, and I'm glad that Rebecca kind of hooked us up. And
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah,
So,
definitely a good time for sure. Yeah, and thank you guys for tuning in tonight, as always.
Yep. And next week, Tim Ellis. We're going to catch him right before he goes crazy for about a week.
Yep, right before Michigan Paracon, which is he's going to be slammed right after we talk to him, right?
And maybe we can find the real scoop out on Brad. So I'm sure he's got a few stories he can share with us.
Yep.
Probably a few blats were probably involved in some of those stories. So yes, it'll be interesting to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah.
That's
another fun week planned.
Yep. So I'm here in the office for another couple of days, and then back to Ashmore. So I can spend my. I think I'll probably hit about 20 out of 30 days this month probably before I'm done. So we'll see what goes on.
Yeah. Good night, guys. Yeah. See you, Tim. Have a good night.
All right. Everybody take care. Have a good evening.
Yeah. Yep.
My name is Mike, and I'm the founder of the Lost Limbs Foundation. The Lost Limbs Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides assistance to amputee children in need of prosthetics. I started the charity after my own struggles after my leg being amputated just above the knee. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, and the average lifespan is 5 to 7 years on a prosthetic. Kids are constantly growing, so they'll go through multiple prosthetics throughout their life. This is the prosthetic leg that I use, and the cost was about $70,000. The Rhodes Hotel is in Atlanta, Indiana, and is owned and operated by the Lost Limbs Foundation. We are currently doing photo shoots, ghost hunts, and special events to help raise money for the charity. For more information, you can go to lostlimbsfoundation.org. With your help, we can help these kids one step at a time.